Wagwan, mi familias, welcome back, glad you made it, man. It's another social production, that's right, we're doing it, your bamba clots. It's Friday, July the 24th, 2026. Thank you for joining me, whether you're tuning in from Canada, the south of Canada's, the United States of America's, all 50 states, beautiful states, further down south, Mexico, as per usual, further down south, South America, over there in Europe, Asia, Africa, Antarctica, Papua New Guinea, New Zealand, Australia, of course, over there in Nicaragua, over there in Zimbabwe, over there in Cote d'Ivoire, in Egypt. Hello to the earthlings, to the human beings, to the jellyfish, to the to vermin, to rats, to squirrels and the cats and the dogs and the monkeys and the chimps, to extraterrestrial life that might be out there looking at us. Quit looking at us, but keep looking at us. I hope you enjoy the show. So if you're tuning in from outer space in the International Space Station, keep tuning in. Forget what you're doing. Who cares? Whatever task you're doing, you have plenty of time out there. Keep watching the show and know that our hearts are with you. If you're further beyond in outer space, like way out there, if you're like near a black hole, you know what I'm talking about. And you're on it's the gravitational pull is strong, and that's what she said. So you're here and I'm here and we're doing it. And shout out to the lone wolves, but also shout out to the wolf pack. The wolves also. Shout out to lone wolves, but also teamwork. Shout out to the wolves. Shout out to everybody out there. Shout out to anybody independent out there. But shout out to, again, community and teamwork and unity and all that jazz. What have we been talking about? Let's just get right into it, boys and girls, ladies and gents. Please, if we may. Thank you for joining me. And scene right there. Get into it. No, wait, hold on. Take one. Just get right into it. We're going to just do take one. Coming in as death, repping death, POV death, take one, and action, go. Hi, I'm Death. Thank you for joining me today. This is the first time I've done one of these. To be honest with you, a lot of people tell me to go on different podcasts. Death, we want to hear from your perspective. What's it like? What are you doing out there for thousands, hundreds of thousands of years? You've been with us. Millions of years, no, maybe billion, no, even maybe trillions of who knows how many gajillions of years overall spread throughout the universe. Death, yours truly, doing my work out there. A lot of people are fans, of course. I said thank you. How do you do it? I do it for the love of the game. I've been doing it for so long. I don't even know, but again, this is the reason why I'm doing this. Never done any interviews, of course. Because I'm busy. I love what I do. I'm busy as death. I'm busy and I don't have time to sit down and, once you find your passion, it doesn't even seem like work. That's the beautiful thing. But I have reached a point of, to be honest with you, this has actually caught me off guard because a lot of times people said there are not many constants in life. A lot of times people said one of the constants at least is death. Me, my job is. They said I have job security. That's sure. Was it? It's how did I even fall into it? Some people like to say, "Oh, nepo baby," being in the death family, and that's how you got the job. I'll tell you, there were many people in the family who didn't take the job, and they might have had the connections, but nonetheless, I stepped up to the plate as a young man and decided to go after my dreams and passions, and I've been doing it for, again, millions of years. So many of you I've visited, so many of you I was looking forward to visiting, but again, I'm trying to maintain an optimistic point of view. You're like, what are you talking about, Death? You're asking, and I'm sorry, this is coming at me. It's a vulnerable time. To be honest with you, I'm hit with a lot of emotions. A lot of thoughts are going through my head. This is all happening way too fast, but you may have heard, and I'm happy about this because I like change. We'll see where it goes, to be honest with you. You may have heard that Brian Johnson, longevity guru, expert, life perv, they say. Shout out to the life pervs. I like life, don't get me wrong, because without life I wouldn't have a job. But nonetheless, he apparently cloned himself recently and he's going to harvest his organs so that he can replace his old dying organs. And thus this brings us to this turning point. I believe it's the death of death, really. It's the death of death, which is not really an ending, only a new beginning. Technically, I'm still going to be around because but my job will no longer exist. And this is, again, caught me off by guard. It's surprising. I'm having a difficult time right now trying to transition into a new state. Yeah, people are growing apparently their own organs, and you're going to be you guys have decided to replace your body parts with new body parts made in the lab. And I am a fan of tech, and I am a fan of longevity as well. I'll say that. I do want us to live 1,000 years. But then I thought I'd get to step in after 1,000 years and do my part. I don't mind waiting. I'm a patient man. I like foreplay. What are we talking about here? But apparently you guys want to get rid of it in totality. I think, at least for the time being, I've been told to just step outside and reevaluate what I really want to do now that I've got all this time. So before it used to be, you stubbed your toe and there you go, your toe fell off, and then that's when I came and visited you. I'd be like, hey, your toe just fell off. You're gonna die soon. And I took you there into the other realm, onto the other side. I was your traveler's guide. I was your little friendly neighborhood Sherpa. That's what I was. And everybody loved me. Oh, Halloween, we can't wait to dress up as death. Everybody did it. It was fun. Kids, adults, people even close to death. Not like close as in, we weren't tight or anything, but like near death. People used to dress up all the time and rep hard in the streets, on the interwebs, from high society to low society, even mid society. God, it was a beautiful time. But now I'm wondering what to do with myself. Of course, they've been telling me I'm going to be getting UBI. They've been telling me I'm replaced by essentially AI and technology and robotics. They're saying that I'm going to be getting paid handsomely too, not just some bullshit low minimum wage, universal basic. No, it's going to be high. And again, I'm going to have to, sure, you're like, death, what about other stuff? Don't you have any other interest? Sure I do. Photography, of course, the arts, movies, painting, chess, badminton, all these, but again, I do those for a small amount of my time, and then the rest of it was just dedication to my craft. But now I don't know what to do with myself. I'm having a difficult time forming my new identity. What is my purpose? What does it all mean? I'm gonna be fine. I mean, you guys are gonna be fine too. We'll see each other, of course, in and around. Should you at one point decide to, I'm still going to do house calls. I will still do house calls. It's not going to be overnight, but the change is starting. And it's going to be, but again, if you need me, I'll be there. If you're like, no, I want to do it properly, the old school way, death trad, you want to do traditional death, I'll be there. Whenever if you do decide to go that path. And and in a short period of time, if everybody decides to live up to hundreds of thousands of years, then at one point I'll figure a way out. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about me. I've been here for hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years, and I'll be here long after. And probably there's no before and after. It's just time. It's just once you've been in my position as dead, there's no time. It's just all happening. But here we are. No need to worry about me. Thank you for joining me once again. And see, I'm not gonna exit the frame and enter the frame. It's just your boy. Ladies and gentlemen, yeah. So I believe that's what's happening. We're replacing our bodily organs. Genuinely, me personally. I don't care about death. I don't even know death. As a human who'd like to live for it and accumulate experiences and get to see different eras. Oh God, yes, it's beautiful. So shout out to the life perfs, the tip of the spear, the Brian Johnsons of the world, going out there and getting little petri dishes and creating a little heart, and then getting a little, but like not fully. I don't know how they're doing it. I don't think it's like, but this gets me excited because this is actually one of the. We've had Dolly, the cloned sheep. We've had the dogs. We're stepping into the realm that I've been talking about. I'm like, let's get this shit fucking on the up and up. Bring it out the dark, bring it into the light, from the underground to the above, cloning, bring that shit. Who have we cloned so far? Not just for human harvesting and, body parts, but low key, have we, show us the human clones. We have the tech, come on, show us the human clones. Brian Johnson, show us your clone. His son is probably his clone. It's just like, maybe that's his son. I don't even know. I heard he's sucking on his son's blood. Soon he'll be sucking on his clone's blood, and you can do that too. Not like recently, like you won't be able to do it immediately, but you'll be able to do it soon in like 10, 15 years. You'll open up your closet and there's your, white collar shirt, blue collar shirt, a t-shirt, pants, and you just slide aside all your clothing, and there it's hanging, your clone, or one of the many clones. Maybe you have 3 clones, because who knows, but we're getting there. Immortality, the death of death. Who saw this coming? Maybe others before us. Who knows? But it's exciting times, and happy to be here with you guys and gals. And let's just get right into it, please. I believe China just competed, or is competing, not just, they've been competing. We've all been competing with one another, but competing with Elon Musk's Neuralink. I believe China just said, the article said this, they said the world's first commercial brain-computer interface. And to that I said, because we already had the world's first brain-computer interface. I just don't know what they mean in terms of commercial, like for sale, in terms of like, did they scale it? Is that what they mean? It's scaled out so many people can have access to this thing now? Is that because I thought Neuralink was already commercial for like usage, I thought people were already using it. But China's doing this, and it's, you know how it is with China. Again, taking our beautiful ideas and forgetting all about, intellectual property rights and whatnot. Nonetheless, they're getting rid of vegetables. We started getting rid of vegetables too. I'm talking about people they did this to a man. Allegedly, of course, I don't know. These people could all be actors for all I know. They said there's a man who's a vegetable. He got in a car accident 10 years ago. Now he has a difficult time moving like 2 of his fingers. That could legit be just a healthy man just pretending to be a vegetable. I don't know that. I'm not trying to, who knows though? Who knows? Maybe it's happening for realsies, the chippity chip chips and the old brainy poo, which is nice. And you're like, Rob, that makes you an anti-veg. Anti-veg, yes. Pro-veg, always. I've said from day one, anti-veg. I'm not a big fan of veg. You want veg in your life? You want to be a vegetable? You want your loved ones to be vegetables? Or you want beautiful chips in their brains so they can start moving their hands and take care of themselves? Because self-care is important. And this guy in China, I don't know his name, but he can't do self-care. And that's euphemism for masturbating. He can't, because of the spinal cord injury. He can't do a grip properly. Like 2 of his fingers can't, wrap around his cock properly. And that's not fun. That's like, he's gonna lose his hardness. If you don't grip it hard enough, it can't be like a loose grip. You want the man to have a loose grip for the rest of his life. He's got another hand, of course. I'm not sure how maybe he's not comfortable with the other hand. I don't know how much of his, bodily functions he's lost control of, but that's what we're doing, and it's nice. And again, this I guess coincides with the death of death. Congratulations if you're watching this right now in 2026. Chances are you're not gonna die. Most of us are probably gonna live forever, probably, maybe. Who knows? I think it's not most of us. If you can get enough cheddar, at least in the beginning. It's not gonna be cheap in the early stages. I bet you're gonna have to, whip out some cash or sell your, sell one of your organs online in the black market, get some cash, get some knockoff cloning machine to, replicate yourself in a basement, and then harvest the new organs from that clone and live forever. The death of death. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be wonderful. I'm happy to see this. We're evolving. This is the next phase. We're evolving. We are changing ever so slowly, but also quickly in some aspects as well, which is exciting. It's one of the most exciting times. I don't know about you guys and gals. It's exciting to be living right now. Shout out to Elon Musk's Neuralink for, I guess being anti-veg, and shout out to the Chinese for being anti-veg too. Shout out to all of us, I guess, being anti-veg. You're like, I'm not an anti-veg. You'll say, you are though. If you had, think about it. How many, do you even have any vegetable friends? And don't be that guy or gal that says, oh, I can say veg. I have vegetable friends. You don't though. You don't. There's like maybe you did, but you're not like tight. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a sad, sad day. It's this one breaks my heart. Another beauty, another wonderful soul has just left the earth. This was before death was out of work. This just happened right at the edge. If you just lingered on a few more seconds or days. Who am I talking about? David Syed. This is Epstein's modeling scout, if I'm not mistaken. And that's modeling scout. He died in his home at the age of, if I'm not mistaken, 69. 69, bro. This right in your face, dude. They're just sticking it right in your face. He's 69ing, and he's allegedly dying in his French home. We know the French. The French don't die in their homes. They don't. All right, maybe they do, but like still, 69, a little sus. No, what's sus is that he died in his home, and apparently another French. This was a French modeling agent. So David Syed, modeling scout, French modeling agent Jean-Luc Brunel, if I'm not mistaken. He died in a prison cell. All these guys, both these guys have had allegations of rape and trafficking of the underages, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Allegedly everything, of course. But they both died. That guy died in a cell. Apparently he hung himself. Apparently he committed suicides. Also sus. And then this guy dies. And then I asked myself, I'm like, how many people so far have died who were related to the Epstein case? And I didn't know the answers. I had to look it up. Apparently 22 to 25 people, those are the numbers, 22 to 25 people that were linked somewhat or somehow to Epstein's, the black arts, dog, whatever that realm is. 22 to 25 have mysteriously, or the very just under suspicious circumstances have died. Let's just say that. But it is sad because these people most of them are just good human beings. Good human beings. It's a sad, sad day, and I believe this only because this is what's going to happen now. This is probably like the people who are connected to the story, who are close. I'm talking business associates, and this has happened. Business associates of Epstein have died. Employees have died. Witnesses. Even some victims have died. So, if you're close to the story, chances are you might be, you got to ask yourself, how close to the story am I? And that's if you're too close, then you might be coming down with the case of the old, summer heart attack in your French home. Nothing sus about that. Shout out to everybody out there, I guess. So there you go. 22 people, nothing to see here, absolutely nothing going on over here. Let's just move on, please. If we can just move on, please. A beautiful South Korean Michelin-starred chef, twice Michelin-starred, if I'm not mistaken. So that's when they drop by a restaurant in secrecy. And they're like, oh, I'm just like an average consumer who'd like to consume some of your soup, they'll say, or whatever you're serving at your restaurant. You're like, man, this average consumer who just pointed out that he's an average consumer and wanting to sit down and consume some of my soup it's kind of odd that he's saying that he's an average consumer, because average consumers don't say, could he or she be a Michelin star giver? And they assure you, and they say, by the way, they say, I'm not a Michelin star giver. I'm just an average consumer of food. Here on an average day, they'll do that. That's what they're doing. They're going in disguise. This is what I've heard about the Michelin star givers. They go in disguise, undercover, pretending to be average, regular human beings, but somehow after they leave, you see them. They all have a tell. You can tell. They start sweating. The beads of sweat go down both their tear ducts, that's the tell. Both they're sweating, and the sweat is going to their tear ducts, and then they shake and shimmy while they're sitting down. This is how they hatch the stars out of their anus. That's how it doesn't come easy. Believe you me, it doesn't. But and then there'll be like fire inside your kitchen. They'll distract you, and then they'll leave. after they leave cash, and you'll find a star on the table. And that's how the Michelin stars are given. Traditionally, that's how it's always been given. I'm not sure if we're going to change it, but 2 stars given to this one South Korean Michelin starred chef. And he was doing a great job, but apparently he might be facing jail time because he served ants in some of his desserts. And I didn't know that, but apparently you can't just serve any insect. I don't know much about anything, to be honest with you. And I've been saying this from the get-go, and we stand proud by that statement. We know nothing, barely anything. It feels good. But apparently you can serve I think different countries have different rules. You can only serve a certain number of, past, certified insects, or whatever you want to, or I thought it was just don't serve, endangered or exotic animals. I thought that was, and even those you can kind of get on the black market, but in a Michelin star restaurant, I thought you could literally have anything, but apparently there's a list of insects you can serve. So this guy might be potentially getting jail time, which just made me kind of just think, if he goes to jail, that it sucks for him. It's hashtag free this guy. I don't know his name. I didn't even bother to look it up. I just heard Michelin star chef in South Korea is going to jail potentially. So hashtag free this guy. He's gonna have a difficult time. He's gonna have a difficult time in jail, because everybody else, the majority of the folks there are there for murder and rape and arson and wire fraud and scamming people, but also murder scam, theft, larceny, doing heavy duties, grand theft auto, kidnapping, stuff like that. So this poor bastard's going in there not underprepared, way underprepared. Because they're gonna ask him the second he steps in Korean, and that's as good. I'm working on my Korean. It takes time. Learning new languages is difficult. That's very clear. You're saying that's more Japanese, and it does sound more Japanese, doesn't it? Very close, but also, or was it the best Korean? Was it the best Korean you've ever heard? I think that's, hey, if that's what the people are saying, then that's what the people are saying. The best Korean spoken by a non-Korean. Welcome back to the show. So yeah, he's gonna go to jail, and everybody's fucking first day. What are you in here for? One guy's like, murder while they were all asleep, and I was awake, and I murdered them all, and I'll do it again, man. And he's, they're going around, and what did you do? I kidnapped them all, man. I kidnapped them all, and I put them all in the truck, and I kidnapped them all, but then I kidnapped some more, and I could have stopped kidnapping, because that's what life is. These are criminals. These are hardened criminals, I shaved my pets. I shaved all my pets. There's a guy that shaves his pets, and lock that one up. But this poor bastard, he's gonna have to fucking what's his story gonna be? I fed some people some ants because of us being a, experimental chef. And I'm not even a fan of. Low-key, a part of me does kind of say any insects served at a restaurant, you should be put in jail. That's my person, because I'm a beef guy. I'm a beef, no veg. I said this, anti-veg, no vegetables, ever. All right, protein in terms of red meat and chicken, and sometimes maybe fish, but fish, too much of it, you know what that does. You know what that does, but I don't want to get into it. But insects. I'm trying to remove my own biases from this. I'm saying objectively, look, because I don't want him to get hurt in jail. He's probably gonna get shanked, or he's gonna get approached for. He's gonna get advances, if you know what I mean. People are gonna be soap drops. You know what I'm talking about. Accidental soap drops. Just where that goes. Sticking the old sausage up the old donut hole, but unwanted too. Unwanted. So I'm trying to save this guy, unless he comes up with this crazy idea. This could be a story. I killed them all. I killed them all with serving ants. First they thought they were coming to my restaurant, but he's gonna say this all in Korean. Somebody should translate this for him. Say you killed them all with your ants. Say you were just nobody saw it coming. Yeah, I worked really hard for many years, got my Michelin star, woke up early, never went to bed, got 3 divorces, lost all my kids, but at the end of the day I got my Michelin stars, and my only dream was to kill them all with little ants on their ice cream, and I did. And they're like, holy shit, he kills people with insects, and maybe that will save him. or perhaps not. Who knows? Unless he grabs a hold of a bunch of like crazy, flesh-eating ants and takes those with him to prison and releases it on the populace in Gen Pop and fucking, slowly watches the ants go to town on the murderers. I'm just saying, hashtag free this guy. Unless you guys want him in prison, I don't even care. Unless you guys are like, no, Rob, you're correct. People shouldn't be eating insects under any circumstances. He should go to jail. If that's democracy, dog. If you guys want him in jail, I get it. A lot of people, a few years ago, they came at us with those, you got to try these, the grasshoppers and the worm. So yeah, most of them should, but I was trying to remove my biases from it. If you guys want him dead, if you guys want him at least jailed, whatever you guys want, we'll do that. So shout out to the gang. Shout out to Michelin stars. I myself have 3 Michelin stars. Don't ask me how I got it, but let's just say I got it the same way everybody else got it. A lot of sweat, a lot of tears, and pushing and shimmying and releasing of the old stars out the old hatch. Doesn't matter where, when it happened. True story. Shout out to the gang. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here. It's Friday. We're queefing now. We're queefing and dancing again. The UK wants to ban hose pipes. This is what they're saying. There's a ban on hose pipes right now in the UK. My understanding is that they don't want the hose to get the pipe no more. We're British after all, mate. We can't be having these young ladies go get the pipe. Ban the hose pipe and no pipe for the hose. Hey ye. No more pipe for the hose. If you've been getting the pipe for way too long, separate the hose and the pipes. If anyone gets the hose to the pipes and the pipes to the hose, there will be consequences heavily afflicted on you and your family. Oi, they said that I don't know what it is that caused them to go down this route. I think could it be the large global gay cabal saying, separate the hose from the pipe, make the hose stick with the hose and the pipe stick with the pipe? Low key, are they trying to turn everybody low key? Same sex for everyone, same sex for everyone. Is that the who knows? I would assume it's probably jealousy. I would say it's probably jealousy. I guess there's men's out there, i.e. pipes and their hose meeting up, engaging in fun activities, and there's some that are not engaging in the hose and the pipe activities, and they're saying, oh, you should ban it. We should ban the hose and the pipes. No more getting piped hose. I think that's what it's about, to be honest with you. I don't know what it's about. They said ban the hose pipe. That's what they call them. Hose pipe. You're like, I'm just going based on into what else could it be? What else could it be? It might be some, sure. It seems like that's what it's about, but maybe it's about water. Maybe it's about wetness. Maybe it's about natural resources. Maybe what if they're trying to ban people from using water, or at least getting people to stop using water, or at least get them to pay a lot for the natural resources that are abundant on Earth. Or is it abundant on Earth? Let's unpack this together. Island nation state, the United Kingdom, surrounded by water, and there seems to be some sort of water scarcity. If only they had access to water, somehow they would supply themselves with moisture. You're like, they do though. They're a tiny island nation state surrounded by water. How could they be saying don't use water? Because it's in the middle of the ocean. They're surrounded, but that's not the same though. It's not the same water. You'd think that they They get a ton of, yes, sure. Of course, the UK is known for their rainy weather and climate all the time. They say it rains in the UK and then it's sunshine for 2 seconds and it rains again. And that's an old UK saying that they say. But yeah, man, they're surrounded by water, but apparently there's a scarcity of water. So I think it's about water. If I'm not, it might be about the hose too. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. They're surrounded by water. It's different though, because like the water you can drink and utilize for your daily, showering, watering the plants. That's H2O. The water in the ocean it's got the H. All right, we've seen a few 2s, we've seen the O's, but it's different. We will figure it out. In the meantime, please dehydrate yourselves. Do not drink as much water. Do not water the plants. Let the plants die. Let the farmers not plant any, seeds or vegetables. We again, going back, anti-veg all around. Don't feed the animals anymore. Don't let the animals drink too much water. Get them to, if you're showering, get into one tub. Get into bathtubs from now on with your family. Shower at the same time with your family. Remember, you don't want to take turns going, because the last person is getting ass water or puss water, and you're like, who cares? It's family. Of course it's family, but still, unless you like ass water, then by all means take turns going and then be the last that gets into that tub and use that ass water to wash yourself. Essentially, we have to be honest, I'm going to keep it $1.50. It's been far too long that water's just not been utilized by the elites, by the lizards. People have been getting access to water for far too long without paying as much as they should be. Water, as much as there is plenty of it on earth, we have to charge a lot of money, guys. It's not many. As we've said throughout this show, the world runs around, you got to be able to, it's scheming and scamming and Ponzi schemes and fake businesses. And there's only so many fake businesses. And one of the major things we can make money from is natural resources, God-given or nature-given natural resources. So please, you'd think that it'd be free to just get access to water, but it's not. All right, same with electricity. It should cost a lot. But you're like, what about Nikola Tesla's tech? Can we bring that into the equation? Make everybody just get free electricity? How about that? Again, we got to charge you guys for it. As a lizard, as the elites would like to let you know that it's not the same when it's free. Let's just say you don't appreciate it when it's free. All right, or at least affordable. You got to pay for it. And in the meantime, you out there, please make the required and necessary sacrifices, whether it comes to electricity use, whether it comes to water use, or gas and oil. Please, the prices are going up, yes, and we need to charge more for it. It's abundant. They're never going to run out, or at least it's never. What about the oil? How long is that going to last? Because I thought we were going to run out at one point, but it's not. It's just the prices are going up. That's very convenient given the circumstances surrounding, global stuff that's taking place, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But nonetheless, this is about water right now. So you need to stop drinking, stop watering the plants, stop showering. And I might be completely wrong about all of this. This legit might just be about the hose getting the pipe. This might just be about a hose, no more hose getting pipes. All right, that's enough of that. That's enough of that. Of course, the power move of the summer is, you're asking, what is it? Rob, please tell us, what's the power move of the summer? And I'm glad you asked right there. What is the power move this summer? If you want to take advantage right now and go ahead and just upscale your life, get into the fast lane, get into the fucking fast lane for once in your life. Just give frosted tips to your pubic hair. There it is. Simple, short. That's what it is. You give frosted tips to your pubic hair. I don't know what it is. I don't know how it started. I don't know who started this. But it started and it's here. Frosted tips on the pubic hair for 2026 summer, moving into fall. I don't know if it's going to last the entire year, but right now, for a limited time offer, frosted tips on pubic hairs, power move the summer. Get any job you desired with your frosted pubic hair. Pick up any man or woman with simply frosting the tip of your pubic hair. Get any woman or man to fall in love with you and have a baby by simply frosting the tip of your pubic hair. show up to that job interview. There's a bunch of schmucks in the office waiting, all dressed the same. You've all memorized the same lines. It's an audition. Who knows what it is? And guess what? You all look alike, and you all. It's basically 10 of you. It's not exactly. You're not clones exactly, but kind of low key. Who's gonna get the part? The one with the frosted tips on the pubes. So take some bleach, apply it to the tip of your pubes, frost it right now. You're gonna thank me later for this. If you wanna take over any company, right now is the time to just simply frost the tip of your pubic hair, walk into that office meeting, boardroom, and just drop your pants and let the frosted tips do the speaking for you. Do not listen to the naysayers who are like, we're not too sure if this is an actual power move. we want to see more results. We want to see more stats. Show us some stats. By the time we're not gonna waste time. All right, winners get the job done. All right, people that sit around and look at the stats and the data are fucking naysayers, and they're just a bunch of sheep following. So please, ignore the noise. Pour the bleach over your pubes, just frost the tips, walk in there, settle a divorce out of court in peace with your ex-lover right now by simply frosting the tip of your pubic hair, and just walk in there and be like, what is this all even about? We loved each other at one point, am I right? And you'll both high five in confidence, knowing that yes, you did love each other at one point. It doesn't have to go through this nonsense of lawyers essentially getting paid. Think about that. Frosted tips for your pubic hair. You're welcome out there. I do the research, so you don't have to, all right? A lot of people do ask me, do I do anything extra from all the things that I already do? How do I make sure I get centered? How do I make sure I give back? How do I make sure I'm doing something that makes me not think about me and makes me, put others first? And I'm glad people asked it. Thank you. I do volunteer. For those, because that's what it is. It's all about us coming together, helping each other. There's a portion of emergency response units it's underappreciated, underfunded. It doesn't get as much attention as it needs, just like many other emergency response units out there, whether they're cops or firefighters or the ambulance drivers or the helicopter pilots that go and do rescue missions. These are all important, and they all need our assistance, and we all need them as well. It's like we all need each other. But there's another portion of emergency response units that barely ever gets talked about, and that's where I spend my time. And we don't do it for the glory or the limelight or we do it for the love of the game. What am I talking about? And if you'd like to participate and partake as well, you can. It's door-to-door emergency response unit. I show up to areas where there are doors and people have simultaneously entered or attempted to enter and or exit the doors, and they both, most of the time it's two people who are stuck in a door frame, and I get there and it's pure chaos. It's hours and hours of trying to figure it out. There's an art to it. You can't just, a lot of people are like, just get behind them or get in front and just push or pull. You'd think it'd be just as easy as push or pull, wouldn't you? You novice Philistine son of a bitch. Try to simplify. It's hard work. And you don't want that to get any attention, do you? You just push and pull and get them out. It's not as easy as that. You know how easy it is to dislocate shoulders, son? Do you know about what do you know about dislocated shoulders? Just push and pull. You just push and pull. What do you want to deform people and make more veg? We already said no veg from the beginning. So no, it takes a lot of time. I get there. It's most often two people. Sometimes I've had instances, believe you me, I've had instances of three people getting stuck in a door frame, larger door frame, larger people. Three people. I'm not gonna do, and you can ask, you're like, what about four people? Have you ever had four people stuck in a door? I don't even want to play the numbers game, because this isn't about me taking the time to brag about how many people I've saved from being stuck between door frames. It's up there. Whatever you're thinking, it's higher. And I'm not even talking about regular doors. Instances where people get stuck in revolving doors and it just loops. And you're like, what's the big deal? They can just stop pushing or pulling and but then they'll be stuck there. Do you want them to stop pushing and or pulling and be stuck there and die like a little tiny, like a human goldfish stuck in a little, fish bowl for a goldfish, and you want them to die? No, I spend hours there calming their nerves, telling them that everything's gonna be okay. I know, in fact, everything might not be okay, but I'm not gonna tell them that. I don't want to freak them out. I don't want these guys to freak out. You want people to freak out and shit their pants? They've shit their pants before many a times, but I don't want them to go through that. But this is what I do. I get in there. Sometimes, again, things do get messy. Yes. Have we had to rip people's bodies out of the frame by just sheer will? And sometimes we got to bring in tech too. And despite the fact that we don't want to dislocate any shoulders, sometimes body parts need to be dislocated. But that's like the last resort. Sure. Get a saw, get a chainsaw, you got to do surgical precision, because it's easy to cut somebody in half, but it's not as easy to stitch them back up, and we've done that plenty of times. But better to be stitched back together than to stay stuck in a door frame and die, and to have thousands of years go by, and where people come and look at your remains and say, I wonder what happened to these two. Maybe they were lovers. Ever get those in archaeology digs where they find people allegedly hugging? They were stuck in door frames, and eventually the structure fell, and they fell, and their bones kind of like crumbled into a snuggle position, and that's our best guess. I guess they were lovers. They're not lovers. They were stuck in door. They want to hide that shit, man. They want to hide that shit from you, that people got stuck in the door. So you don't need an emergency response door-to-door service. People are fine. Are they? Are they though? Shout out to this is, I believe, in India, caught my attention because of the name, to be honest with you. It said Cockroach Party is out there, and they're going off against the police, and the cockroaches are being, and I said, what is happening in India that the Cockroach Party is, what is the Cockroach Party? Because it kept popping up. I'm like, what are they doing? Are they getting together? Is it like a festival of, is it the festival of colors where the beautiful Indians throw colored powder at each other and dance? Is it like that, but with cockroaches? And apparently it's not like that. It's not anything like that. It's a youth movement, if I'm not mistaken. I know about this, like the many things that I don't know about, but apparently in India, it's extremely competitive to get into like med school and other whatever. I don't know their schooling system, but apparently in order to get to med school, there's like an exam you got to pass. That you got to, just like any other place, I guess, there's exams to get into the med school, and there's high levels of competition. You got billions, you got 1 billion and change, but like millions of people competing to get into med school. Apparently somebody went and leaked the exam papers and the answers, and people were buying and selling, and this has been going, it's not the first time either, apparently. This keeps happening. So the kids got tired, the youth got tired, and it's difficult times, because again, we saw earlier, death just got replaced by AI, or it's getting not completely 100%, but like almost replaced by AI. We've almost seen the death of death. Poor bastard. Doesn't even know what to do with himself. You saw that earlier in the beginning of the podcast. But these kids are like, oh, we're having a difficult time going out there finding jobs. The competition is already high enough. Now you're leaking papers, making it kind of rigged so that anybody who can afford to maybe buy the answer key can go buy the answer key, and that's not cool, man. So and then they got called lazy cockroaches by some judge, and then apparently they took that, ran with it, and they're like, yeah, we are the cockroaches, and that's what they're doing. They're rising up right now in India, and they're saying enough is enough, but more is better. Enough is enough, but more is better. The moral of the story is that you might not even be getting you want, like, here's the thing, when it comes to Indian, the moral of the story is, if you want a good Indian doctor, or a doctor who's Indian, or like of Indian descent, you make sure that they're poor. Make sure that they're poor. Think about that, because you don't want one of these like rich kids getting in like I didn't even know about this. Not to say that they're not smart. They are. It's competitive. You still got to be good with it in the sciences and the medicine. But like, apparently, if you have access to means, you can get access to the answer keys and just like kind of get in there and start doing doctors. So if you want, you make sure you're, if you're like, man, my doctor is of, Indian descent, do your due diligence. If it's something like, if it's like an important surgery or whatever, make sure like they were poor and they didn't have access to means, which means they didn't cheat. Because if they were like, if you see like look for stress signs, like they shouldn't have like, if they have like, no wrinkles, no bueno. You want, sunken eyes, you want sunken eye syndrome, because that shows like hard work, poverty, fucking, worked for it. Fucking maybe, patches of hair missing, just like, skin falling off, just like stress, slender built. If you see like a fat Indian doctor, they're still going to be good, but like probably not as good as the, the guy who was like, from the village trying to like, escape poverty and work his way up the fucking corporate ladder in medicine. So that's just shout out to the cockroaches out there holding it down, and just word to the wise out there. Just, make sure your Indian doctor was not cheating and was poor. Make sure that, because that one's going to be the smart one. Think about that for a second. You want a poor doctor, at least humble beginnings, lower to middle class with no opportunity to cheat and get ahead, because that doctor's going to fuck you up and probably, have an uncle in the system to help him out somewhere in India or anywhere else in the world. Who knows? Just putting it out there. It's difficult. But shout out to the cockroaches, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Speaking of medicine and healthcare, in North Dakota, 2 people were switched at the birth-a-roos, apparently. Kyle and Jeremy. I don't know their last names, but they're from North Dakota, and this should suffice. Gives us enough info. Doesn't matter. Kyle and Jeremy, switched at birth, are now suing the North Dakota hospital that switched them at birth. I like to represent, again, I do a lot of pro bono lawyering for people who don't ask for it. You're welcome, of course, in multiple cases. How many cases have we pro bonoed here? Because we're pro boner. That's what it is. Never anti-bono. A lot of people are like, no bono. I'm like, yes, bono. They're like, no bono. I see bono, I say yeah. A lot of people like to subliminally say they're pro bono by getting, sponsors like Blue Chew. What do you think they're doing? It's all pro bono, dog. Think about it. The point is, Jeremy and Kyle, they were switched at birth. You're suing the hospital or whoever's in charge for $50K. I don't think you realize what has happened to you. You were robbed of your entire life, essentially. You have lived your life is it's a fallacy. Your life is not your life. You've been, and again, these are all alleged. I don't know who switched who, if they were actually switched or not, but should this be the actual case, you should be suing for at least $3 million at least each per person, at least $3 million. $50K, that's when 50K is for when you walk into a establishment that's slippery and wet but fail to put up this slippery and wet sign. That's like 50K. Losing your entire family and getting a family, but it's not your own. Like it will become your own, maybe, who knows? Well, is there always some sort of resentment because, the father and the mother kind of looked at their kid and they're like, man, the kid doesn't look like either of us. I guess it might just be how genes work, but it looks off. It looks, you feel it, but you still go out and love the kid and the kid loves you. But is there something, you don't know it. It's different when you adopt because and the kid will find out one day, but like if you don't know, then there's just like, what is this tension? What is this, and you know what that tension is, right? It's sexual tension. That's what it is, I think, because it's basically, or not. It could just be tense for a number of reasons. It could also be sexual tension. You can't rule it out. Essentially, they're strangers living amongst one another. But the point is, ladies and gentlemen, that to my guys out there, Kyle and the other one, Jeremy. 3 mil, my boys. Go out there, get your money. You've suffered long enough. The rest of your life you're gonna have to spend unraveling what the truth is. Who loves you more. Can you swap at this point? Is it even worth swapping? You know, would you want to go back to your biological parents' homes and like your old men now? Not old, but like older. You've been robbed of a life essentially is what it is. Unless it works out really well for like both of you, unless like you both went into great families and nothing changed really other than the fact that you're not with your biological parents, given a great upbringing, you know, filled with ample opportunity, room for plenty of mistakes to be made, but lessons learned, growth opportunity, sacrifice nonetheless, hard work, striving, achieving, failing sometimes, growing some more, getting into relationships, having babies, jobs, getting fired, getting hired, getting fired, hired, rehired, fired, decide to go your own way, make your own company, become a millionaire because of it. And there you go, might have worked just fine. Or you could be asking yourself, man, I deep down inside, I always knew something was off. Right now you need to listen to that voice. That voice is telling you get 3 mil at least, because 50K is just chump change. Think about it. You're welcome. Pro bono. Another one. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here, dearly beloved. Somebody wrote in and asked me, Rob, this is from a female, this is from a beautiful female, Gretchen, wrote in and said, Rob, I'm trying to milk my father-in-law at a restaurant. We're sitting at a booth trying to milk my father-in-law under the table, and there's this rude bitch from across the restaurant who keeps coughing extremely loud and just kind of killing the vibes. How do I proceed, Rob, with a little bit of grace? Wow. I'm glad you asked that, Gretchen. Thank you for opening up and sharing your story with us. So what Gretchen just laid out here, if I'm not mistaken, she's out with family at a restaurant trying to milk the father-in-law at the said restaurant, and they're in a booth, and there seems to be some bitch with maybe her family. She's coughing extremely loud, and she's kind of killing the vibe for Gretchen, who's trying to again milk her father-in-law, and she's asking for grace. How does she carry through? I'll say this, Grace. I'll say this, Gretchen, to have a little bit of to carry forward with grace and be able to finish takes. And yeah, this is not about just Gretchen. This is basically life for all of us. Gretchen is, of course, wanting to again milk her father-in-law under the table at the booth in the restaurant, and she's getting distracted by this, or you know, she's getting, you know, she's trying to, maybe it's sabotage. Who knows? The point is, I'm sensing there's a bit of like, oh, how do I maintain my integrity? How do I keep going while there's somebody out there just like, you know, low-key trying to just like kill the vibes? You just concentrate on doing you, Gretchen. If you're enjoying your din with family and you're just trying to, you know, innocently milk your father-in-law at the restaurant, and yeah, there's this loud bitch who's coughing and, you know, just like, you know, looking at you from across the restaurant. You keep doing you. They can keep doing whatever they're doing, but you keep doing you, Gretchen. There's nothing that says family like eating together, spending time together, and reinforcing relationships and building bonds. And if you're out there trying to milk your father-in-law under the table at the restaurant, this bitch is going to be, she's probably got issues on her by herself in her own life, okay? She's probably seeing you milking your father-in-law. I'm gonna say, I don't know everything, of course, I wasn't there. I'm gonna say she's probably seeing a little bit of like, oh look, what a close-knit family, what a beautiful bond. Let me cough right here and kind of like try to ruin the vibes for this, because I don't have that. You know, I'm sensing a bit of jealousy in that bitch's cough, and you said she coughed repeatedly, loudly too. Continue on. Do as you were doing. I'm not sure if you managed to finish your father-in-law off this particular time, but if it should, because you never know, it might be a coughing bitch this time. Next time it might be like, you know, somebody just like clearing their throat. So, you know, loudly just repeatedly clearing their throat. And again, so it could be anything. And this is again, whether it's milking the father-in-law or getting distracted by a loud cough. It could be anything. It could be like, oh, I'm trying to finish this car in the garage that I work at, or finish this house at the house company that builds houses. I'm trying to finish this, but there's this, the foremen are like, there's four men, doing foreplay, foremen and foreplay, what it, and then it's distracting. But how do I continue with grace? Focus, keep your attention on the task at hand. Don't pay them any attention. The point is, there's always going to be externals happening. Control where you can control, Gretchen, and that is to if you want to milk your father-in-law, you should be able to milk your father-in-law with like 3 bitches coughing extremely loud or clearing their throat. So don't mind them, okay? There's going to be plenty of times in life when we're doing things and there's just going to be like, oh, just background noise. Don't let it get to you. Keep moving forward, and thank you for coming here and sharing your story with us, because I just want you to know you're not alone out there. There's plenty of people out there who are trying to milk their father-in-law under the table right now who feel like their voices have been heard. And for that, we thank you, Gretchen. Thank you for your bravery and your service. Speaking of bravery and service, of course, I believe the escalation of the Middle East escalation is escalating ever so quickly, and escalations are escalating, which is not to be mistaken for an escalator. Of course, escalators could escalate, and that's just it could go faster. I'm not sure if they do go faster or not, but escalators could definitely escalate. You might have to I don't know the wiring, I don't know the system. You'd probably have to hack it to make it go faster, but escalators could escalate. You never know. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, we are hitting the Pickaxe Mountain. I think we hit it, or we are gonna hit it. I like this one because I like the name of the mountain, to be honest with you. Pickaxe sounds kind of nice. The other places, not quite sure about. It's close to the Natanz nuclear site area that they were doing the activities allegedly, and allegedly, due to intel that came from the Israeli intelligence services, there's centrifuges embedded deep inside this mountain, also known as Pickaxe Mountain. There's centrifuges, and centrifuges are used to, I guess, enrich more uraniums and get more material for potentially a nuclear weapon. Apparently, this is the intel coming from allegedly from the source that is the Israeli intelligence. And so I guess we're hitting the mountain now, and simultaneously there's many things. We are spinning many plates. Simultaneously, we're signing a deal with Saudi Arabia that they might be able to enrich uranium. And we're going to be working tightly with the Saudis to make sure that they're going to be using it for just nuclear energy. There's not going to be any making of weapons. But nonetheless, that's happening. And the good thing is that so far, it's only cost us 37.5 billion so far. It's a few months, 37.5 billion, if I'm not mistaken. Gas prices are going up, but this is all a good thing, because down the line, eventually, I think we're gonna have to, there's either gonna be, again, it might be ground troops or nukes at one point. I'm not a fan of good folks anywhere dying. I don't even, to be honest with you, low-key, I'm not even sure. Is it about nukes? Is all one thing? Because I'm just asking, a couple of regions that are similar in a couple of countries in a region, and you got Saudi Arabia and Iran, different in many ways, but similar in a sense as well, you could say. So it's a little bit odd that one might get, potentially abilities to enrich or be allowed to enrich uranium, but the other one isn't. Nonetheless, definitely don't want the mullahs getting their hands on nukes. That should go without saying. Doesn't make me feel so good that the Saudis are getting. I don't feel like anybody else should be getting nukes at any point. Or we should all probably get rid of, or try to reduce the number. It's not unless we want to use the nukes at one point. Unless we need more people to have the nukes, so that we could use the nukes. Which low-key, all this, I'm just kind of confused about a lot, like many of you are. And I asked myself deep down inside, are the wars in the world really even about what we think or what we're told they're about? Or is there something a little bit more, higher up the security ladder that might have access to these information that the regular average citizens don't? Are we trying to, do we need to make some nukes go off, is what I'm asking. To potentially, do we need to? Not for any sort of like regime change or some sort of like, good deed that we're trying to do to get rid of like evil people. Do we need to use nukes to open up a portal by any, like, because if I'm not mistaken, we had a lot of alien sightings after we dropped the bombs, right? After the nuclear bombs, we had a lot of alien sightings. I'm just wondering, question for the general public, do we need to use atomic bombs to kind of like light up the skies to send a signal or open up a gateway of sorts to potentially lure aliens in potentially? Again, I don't know. These are all just, of course, I don't know what I'm talking about, but do we need to maybe, is that a way to, again, open up a portal to some sort of, open up a black hole, another universe, or is it just for, or it's kind of like if you don't, you got to use it or lose it sort of thing, because they might go stale. That's another thought you might have. You're like, well, we have these nukes and it's not fun to just have them. You got to use them. There is that aspect. I say if we do got to use them, if you can somehow gather all the mullahs and the Islamists in one area, I have no problem with killing those guys. Zero problem. Kill as many of those guys as you like. Just innocent people, like regular, I hate to see anyone anywhere in the world, school children, women, men, elderlies, just getting blown up for no reason. That sucks. Is it just part of the soup that gets, the eggs and the omelet thing? Maybe so. Regardless, for the next little while, on the bright side, we'll go back to the, if you think about it, it's actually good because it makes you like appreciate the small things in life. Because that's the thing. Sometimes it takes extremely negative events to appreciate the small. So you're like, I already do appreciate the small. You'll appreciate it even more. You'll appreciate water, and electricity, and gas way more once it's all skyrocketed. You're like, it's very difficult to get our hands on like just like a little stable place so we can start our families, Rob. It's difficult to do that. It's the price of everything is skyrocketing, but you'll appreciate it more once the prices go even higher, potentially, probably, right? During the fall, winter, if gas prices continue to go high, impact a lot of things, impact agriculture, food, scarcity, have people rioting, maybe fighting over resources. I'm sure it'll be fine. Overall, the vibes kind of feel nukey, but at the same rate, I think, who knows what will happen? At the same rate, who knows? Who knows? There it is. I'm a fan. I like the Operation hit the pickaxe now and get in there. How deep did they go? How far deep did they go? Who knows? And once we get this place, that'll be it. Or they might just move to another mountain. This one's gonna get carried on for a long time, isn't it? Until eventually we nuke them, right? Who knows? I don't know. Maybe not. Overall, we're good here. And again, if you're close to getting nuked, like you want to be close to it, it would suck for the region that's around. It would suck for the people who are around it, the radius, the ones that like with the flesh, with the melting, and the dogs in Chernobyl are doing well though. After the year, that's fine, right? The dogs in Chernobyl are doing well. Thinking maybe it's all big again. Is there something about the land in particular where it's geographically located? Is there something about the land itself that's maybe more? Is nuclear weapons and even oil? Is that even kind of like, are those two still even? Is there something more to the actual location in that area of the world? It's thousands of years, many of people interested. Who knows? The point is, ladies and gentlemen, that we're here. What's funny, what's beautiful is I just saw Nicaraguan president say that he is getting rid of elections, which I find, I don't relate to that whatsoever because I'm not Nicaraguan. Of course, you know that about me, black, Japanese, white person here, Japanese, black, white person, not Nicaraguan. but he declared no more elections, and basically that means he's Prezi for life. I would like to, low-key, I would like to be if I get a chance for like a little while to run a South American state, it would, I don't know why, it seems romantic just to kind of have like, South American camo on with some, smoke some Cubans, be a South American dictator basically. And you're like, what about other forms of South America? I don't know, I gravitate towards that region of the world for dictatorship purposes if ever there's an opportunity, who knows? But I do like the movie. You got to give it up to this guy, because I heard a speech. Of course, they translated it into English, but he's saying, "Oh, we got to stop the elections." That's what the translation said. He said, "Got to stop the elections. We can't have any more elections because people who come and want to have elections are supported by the Yankees." That's what he says. I'm guessing he thinks that every person who wants to have an election is a Western puppet, quote unquote, if you will. But that's extremely convenient. Every time there's somebody that's like coming in to say, we should probably have an election every few years, they might say, they're like, oh, what, yeah, you'd want that, you Yankee puppet, wouldn't you? That's what he calls them. That's a lot of people it seemed like the crowd, at least over there, were for it, which is nice again to have. I guess everybody has their support and their base. All in all, it was nice. The vibes were good. Shout out to Nicaragua. Hella convenient for this guy to call no more elections once he's in, which tells me soon there's probably going to be some sort of probably regime change in Nicaragua as well, which we're looking forward to participating in. And by that I mean letting things unfold in a very natural way. Extremely natural. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, that we're here today, and this brings me to, I guess this sums it up all together. It's a beautiful way of summing everything up together. That's we're here. And I think people are sleeping. People are sleeping. You're like, what are they sleeping on, Rob? What are they sleeping on now? I'm glad you asked. They're sleeping on, I think that I just saw a UFC-esque event happen in China. It's not for people, it's for robots. We've seen, they've gotten really good. There's two robots in a cage. They were doing cage fighting matches. Both of them were popping off at each other, just fucking roundhouse kick, jab, jab. One of them kicked the other one's head off, and it like popped off, and it was just like hanging on by a few cords and wires. But it kept fighting, which gave me an idea of like, are people sleeping on robot UFC like they slept on human UFC? Because in the beginning of the UFC, in the early stages, it was out there. It wasn't mainstream. It was like fucking underground shit. It was fucking, dudes who got up and just like brawled it out. Eventually, in a very short time, it became what it is today, and still growing, of course. It's still in its, early stages, if you will. But I'm thinking, are people sleeping on a robot UFC? And is the future essentially us merging with these machines? And what would that look like? Because that seems to, again, with the brain-computer interface, with the harvesting of our own organs, could you have instant, how are fighters gonna, because right now there are injuries. What if we could reduce the injuries, or like replace the body parts extremely? How would fights finish at the end of the, like Max Holloway versus Conor, right? He just got injured again. Like, what if we had what if in like 5 years you can just be like, oh, he's got a knee injury, just to get in there, and there's like there's coaches are there, and they're like, here, grab a kneecap, and to just like, switch a kneecap, and he's back in there again. Or his jugular is missing from that kick that came in, someone's jugular goes missing. You just grab a bucket filled with like body parts, plug it back into place, just plug it, pull and plug it, replace it, and they're good to go. Would they have to fight to the death at that point? Would that be like, because who would lose if no one's getting injured? If you're not worried about losing body parts, you're like, fuck it, I'm not gonna tap, I'll just sit here and just rip it, I don't care, rip it, I'll get a bionic part, half bionic, half, my organs are in that little cooler right there, whatever you want. Does it become a game of who's got the best organs? Does it become a tech game at that point? Who's got the best organs? And no longer is it going to be a sport dominated by Dagestanis, because yeah, sure, they might be good at fighting, but they don't have access to like good, fucking organ. We got access to probably the best organ replacements. They might come in like, missing a mustache, full beard, good at fighting. Our guy's still really good too, still fucking really good too, of course, same levels. But also if our guys get hurt, fucking switch it, his calf muscle split in two, oh my god, his calf muscle split in two, switch it. And that's how they fit. You'd probably have to kill each other at that point to get a winner. And by killing, I mean just basically kind of like, don't go brain dead. What would declare who would win if no one's dying? That's the thing. If no one's in the ring, if everybody becomes like in 10 years from now, if you can replace body parts, or if not 10 years, but like in the near future, if you can replace body parts really quickly, like they do in the Formula Ones, like a pit, you just go to your corner, oh, you kicked me in the nuts, give me a new nut. Just plug it and replace it. He's got a new nut. He's good to go for another 5 round. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, peace out. Get out of here.